Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show where we take a really close look at the source material you share with us, and we try to distill these powerful insights into, well, immediate, actionable knowledge.
And our mission today is all about shortcuts.
Exactly. Specifically, the shortcut to becoming truly articulate in English.
We're tackling what is, I think, the greatest hurdle for so many language learners. It's that gap between knowing the grammar and, achieving that natural flowing speech.
Right.
Our source material for this, the Vocabulary Master, is really designed to bridge that exact gap. So we're moving beyond just recognizing words.
Yeah, beyond just flashcards.
We're moving to the subtle art of choosing the right word for the right moment.
Okay, let's unpack that immediately, because I think so many of us have been there. You can write a perfect essay, your grammar is totally solid, you get the tenses, but then you try to speak quickly, or maybe you're trying to convey a complex emotion, and you hit a wall. You find yourself using the same 5 simple adjectives over and over again.
Yeah, good, bad, big, small.
All the time. And the source, it correctly identifies this as the lack of vocabulary. But it's more a lack of precision, really, isn't it?
It is precisely that. Fluency isn't just measured by the absence of grammatical errors. I mean, that's part of it. But real fluency is about the richness and the clarity of your communication.
The impact.
The impact. If you want to communicate a precise thought, you absolutely need a precise linguistic tool to do it. So our objective here is fundamentally practical. We want you to sound not just correct, but impactful. Elegant, even.
And this all comes down to comprehension and application, not just, staring at a list of words.
Not passive rote memorization. Absolutely not.
And the source material has structured this path to mastery into 4 really crucial pillars. We're going to dive into synonyms, which is all about the power of choice.
Then antonyms, which I think is the efficient art of negation. It's a great shortcut.
Right. And then the big one, the world of idioms and phrasal verbs. These are sort of the secret handshake of native speakers.
They really are. And finally, we'll get to etymology, which treats language like this magnificent set of interlocking Lego pieces.
I love that analogy.
It really is the structural code of English. We'll start by quickly setting the stage with how words operate, just a quick refresher. Then we'll spend a lot of time elevating your everyday speech by finding these high-value alternatives for common words.
And we'll look at shortcuts like prefixes.
And then culminate with the sheer power of etymology. We'll show you how learning maybe 10 Greek or Latin roots can effectively teach you hundreds of English words.
This is the accelerated path.
It is. It's the accelerated path to linguistic sophistication.
Okay, so before we start stacking these vocabulary Legos, as you put it, we do need a very quick anchor in the structure. And this isn't about defining what a noun is. I mean, our audience certainly knows that.
Of course.
It's more about reminding ourselves why knowing a words class is so vital for fluency.
That is the crucial distinction. We're anchoring here just to emphasize that understanding a word's category, it dictates how you can modify it, how you use it, and that's essential for using advanced vocabulary correctly.
Right. If you misuse an adjective as an adverb, it doesn't matter how fancy the word is.
Exactly. You instantly signal a lack of fluency, regardless of how advanced that word itself is. It just sounds wrong.
So let's quickly review the 4 main parts of speech, but focusing on their utility. First up, the noun. It names a person, a thing, or a place.
And, importantly, abstract concepts. This is key. It's easy to visualize a dog or a pen, sure, but we have to remember that words like courage, justice, skepticism, these are all nouns too.
They're the subjects of your sentences.
They're the subjects and objects of your communication. And understanding the sheer scope of the noun category, that's the first step to enriching your vocabulary, not just with more concrete objects, but with more complex ideas.
Okay, next we have the verb. This is the action, the state of being. What is the subject doing?
It's the engine of the sentence. Run, eat, sleep. Simple. But the ones that are often overlooked are the to-be verbs is, was, were which, just define a state of being.
Right.
And when we start learning advanced synonyms for verbs later in this deep dive, we're really focusing on selecting the verb that describes the action with maximum precision.
So choosing between stroll and limp.
Instead of just walk.
Exactly.
Which brings us to where a lot of the power lies in descriptive vocabulary, the adjective. So the adjective is the element that provides more detail about a noun. It modifies it.
And this is where most language learners really start to build their advanced toolkit.
Oh.
If you want to describe the concept of happiness, which is a noun, you need an adjective.
Genuine happiness.
Genuine happiness. If you want to communicate a specific kind of person, you use a targeted adjective, a meticulous researcher. And the goal, as we're about to see, is replacing those general adjectives like good or big with these laser-focused alternatives.
And finally, the adverb. So if the adjective modifies the noun, the adverb modifies the verb. It tells us how the action is done. And the telltale sign is often that "selly" ending. If you say someone walks, you can refine that by saying they walked quickly or
Walked cautiously.
walked cautiously, walk meticulously. The adverb adds all this texture and depth to the action.
So it's about layering the meaning.
Yes. And if you introduce an advanced verb like gaze, you often need an advanced adverb to modify it appropriately. Not just "she gazed quickly," but maybe "she gazed contemplatively." We have to make sure the modifier fits the word it's modifying.
So that's the scaffolding. Now we can proceed with confidence, knowing every new high-value word we learn fits into one of these 4 defined roles.
We are now entering, I think, the realm of high-impact vocabulary. A synonym is, simply a word with a similar meaning, but the purpose here is so much greater than just avoiding repetition.
It's about calibrating your speech for impact, for elegance and precision.
Exactly. It's a difference between saying, "I have a big problem" every single time,
Which we all do.
and choosing a word that actually conveys the emotional or, the practical weight of that problem. If you constantly default to simple vocabulary, you're just underselling your own thoughts.
Okay, so let's start with elevating our descriptive language. Let's begin with the scale of size, moving beyond the word big.
We can start with large. This is already a step up. It's a little more formal. It implies something substantial, often important.
Right, you talk about a large corporation or a large investment. It's not just size, it's significance.
Precisely. Then you escalate. Huge immediately suggests a noticeable expansion way beyond the normal size. If you replace a big elephant with a huge elephant, you're communicating a sense of scale that just demands attention.
And giant takes it even further. It almost invokes something mythical or figurative.
Like a giant from a fairy tale, exactly. Something almost unnaturally large.
But here's the distinction I really want to get into for our audience. The difference between massive and enormous. They feel similar, but they're not.
They are not, and this is a high-level nuance. While both suggest great size, massive, it carries this connotation of weight, of density, or overwhelming power.
That makes it really good for abstract nouns, then.
It's perfect for them. You wouldn't just say the building is massive. I mean, you could, but its real power is in describing a massive budget deficit, a massive policy shift, or a massive undertaking. It speaks to weight and impact.
Whereas enormous stays more linked to the physical, the sheer physical measurement, almost beyond calculation.
Yes, it communicates a scale that inspires awe or maybe even terror. An enormous wave, an enormous mountain. So a key distinction: massive for impact, enormous for physical scale. That's a nuance worth internalizing.
It's interesting how we grade scale on the high end. But what about the other way? Let's flip that. How do we introduce nuance when we're talking about small things, words for small?
Right. Tiny is a great one. It captures the idea of something being extremely small, maybe almost microscopic or barely visible.
Like a tiny virus. Or the source example, the ant is tiny.
Then you have little. Little is softer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It often implies affection or youth, a certain charm. You speak of a little baby or a little cottage.
There's an emotional layer to it. It's smallness viewed fondly.
Exactly. Now, miniature is entirely different. It's not about natural smallness.
It's artificial.
It's an artificial reduction, a small-scale replica or model of something larger, a miniature car collection.
And then there's slight, which is very specific. It denotes a minor quantity or a degree or a difference.
The sources example is perfect. I have a slight headache. It's not a small object. It's a minimal amount of pain. You'd use it for a slight adjustment or a slight hesitation. It's about subtlety.
Okay, we need to apply this same calibrating power to how we evaluate things. So let's look at words for good.
Oh, good is the linguistic equivalent of a shrug. It says almost nothing. We need escalation.
So, excellent. It implies superiority, a demonstrably high quality that really surpasses the standard. You did an excellent job.
And if something is amazing, it invokes a sense of wonder. It's unbelievable. It often takes you by surprise.
Wonderful feels more emotional. It generates a joyful or deeply pleasant feeling. It's about satisfaction.
Right. Fantastic keeps us at that same extreme high quality level, and it's often interchangeable with excellent in, casual contexts. But let's zoom in on superb.
Okay.
We often see superb used to denote the highest possible quality, especially for things that are created. Performances, art, or sensory experiences like food. It focuses on this inherent, often skillful quality. The performance was superb.
Okay, turning the dial down, let's explore words for BAD. Here, the synonyms are really expressing different kinds of negativity, from just discomfort to actual danger.
Yeah, and this is important. Awful implies something is intolerably bad, often linked to a sensory offense. A bad smell, a bad incident. It is an awful smell. It's something you instinctively pull away from.
Whereas terrible implies severity and often potential danger or fear. If you
Hmm.
say, the weather is terrible today, you're suggesting the conditions are so bad they're creating difficulty or even risk.
A very different feeling. Then you have poor, which is specific to low quality or low standard. You can have poor lighting, poor management, poor grades. It's the direct opposite of excellent in a quality assessment.
And unpleasant is just milder. It's simply not providing satisfaction or pleasure, but it's not necessarily dangerous or intolerable.
Right. It's a useful, moderate word.
Let's refine our emotional vocabulary now, starting with happy.
Glad is the simplest, most functional happiness. I'm glad to meet you. It's polite, it's immediate.
But joyful is far deeper. It suggests a profound, great happiness felt deep in the heart. It's almost spiritual sometimes.
It can be, and delighted often comes from receiving something, whether it's a gift, good news, or a positive interaction. I am delighted to see you means your presence brings me a great pleasure.
And cheerful is all about the external display, isn't it? It's bright, enthusiastic, visible on the face. It suggests a disposition.
It does. And conversely, words for SAD need that same nuance. Unhappy is just the neutral opposite of happy. It doesn't tell you much.
But upset is specific. It means your mind is disturbed or troubled by a particular event that just happened. She looks upset, implies something disturbed her. It's a temporary state.
Exactly. Now, depressed implies a severe, sustained sorrow. And of course, it carries clinical weight now, so its use should be precise. But it suggests a significant disappointment or downfall.
And at the far end of the scale, miserable.
Miserable denotes an extreme, ongoing unhappiness, often linked to harsh circumstances or a pitiful state. Saying someone's life is miserable communicates so much more tragedy than just sad.
This level of vocabulary calibration is just as important when we're describing action, so we need to elevate our verbs.
Absolutely. The nuance of how an action is performed is key for compelling communication. So instead of just saying he said over and over, let's look at words for say talk.
Okay, so if the speaking is done very softly or secretly so other people can't hear, that's whisper. He whispered the secret to me.
Right. But if the speech is very loud, maybe because of anger or distance, the person shouts.
But if that loud volume is involuntary, say, caused by fear or intense pain, then they scream.
Yes. The context of the sound dictates the verb. It's so efficient.
And conversely, if the speaking is indistinct, vague, sort of swallowed in the mouth, the person mumbles.
Which implies a lack of clarity or maybe nervousness. Then you have announce, which is formal, declaring something publicly for everyone to know, and reply, which is the specific action of answering a question.
Okay, moving from speech to vision, words for look, see. This is all about the intent behind the gaze.
It is. Stare is looking intently without blinking, and it can often be viewed as aggressive or impolite. Don't stare at me like that.
Glare takes it even further. It's specifically an angry, hostile stare.
A very different intent from gaze, which is looking beautifully or thoughtfully into the distance, often contemplatively, admiringly.
And a glance is just a quick momentary look. You glance at a clock. The source says he glanced at the question paper, which captures that brevity perfectly.
It does. And finally, observe is intellectual. It means looking closely to learn something, to inspect or monitor it systematically.
Okay, now let's apply this to movement. Words for walk.
Stroll immediately implies leisure, walking freely, slowly, in a relaxed way. We strolled in the park.
Which is the total opposite of march. March is walking quickly, rhythmically, with purpose, like the army.
And tiptoe defines stealth. You're walking on the tips of your toes to avoid making any sound.
Wander implies a lack of direction. You're just walking without a specific goal.
Drifting. And limp is the specific result of an injury walking unevenly. These verbs, they instantly provide the context, the speed, the condition of the movement in a way that walk alone just never can.
Finally, let's touch on words for eat, drink.
Okay, so nibble is eating in very small bits, often tentatively, like a mouse or a squirrel.
But if they are eating quickly and fiercely, usually because they're extremely hungry, they devour the food.
Yes, it's an almost animalistic or uncontrolled way of eating.
And for liquids.
Sip is slow. It's for enjoyment or to test the temperature. Drinking slowly, a little bit at a time, like sipping hot tea.
And gulp is the opposite. It's fast, swallowing in one breath, often out of thirst or urgency, gulping water after a long run.
The lesson from this entire synonym section is just so clear. Don't settle for the common word. The advanced speaker always chooses the word that provides the maximum amount of information and emotion.
Okay, so we've established how to communicate what something is. Now let's tackle how to efficiently communicate what something is not. Antonyms. They're essential for negation and contrast.
And the source outlines two methods for mastering them. One is just memorizing the unique pairs, and the other, which is much more powerful, is mastering the structural shortcuts that prefixes give you.
Let's start with method 1. Common opposites. These are the pairs where the words are entirely different and you just have to learn them together.
Right. Hot and cold, hard and soft, clean and dirty. These are the absolute building blocks.
And then you get context-specific pairs, like cheap and expensive, or deep and shallow. If you know the river is deep, the antonym allows you to confirm that it is not shallow.
Exactly. And the really high utility pairs. Full and empty, safe and dangerous, wide and narrow. And importantly, heavy and light, where light specifically means easy to carry, not just the absence of darkness.
Mastering these gives you that functional baseline.
It does. But now for the shortcut, method 2, using prefixes. This is the most efficient technique because you are applying a simple rule instead of memorizing a whole new word.
And we start with the most common one, un. The source highlights this as mostly for adjectives, and it just means not.
Happy becomes unhappy, lucky becomes unlucky, comfortable becomes uncomfortable, fair becomes unfair. It was an unfair decision. It is instantly effective.
But I want to pause here and offer a little bit of advanced nuance, building on a critique. Why don't we say unbig or ungood?
That's an excellent point. It highlights that not all adjectives can take un. Generally, adjectives that are gradable, meaning you can be very happy or slightly comfortable, they often take a prefix like un.
But words that are non-gradable, you can't really be very empty in the same way. Or the words already have these culturally established opposites. You have to use the full word pair.
Exactly. Deep, shallow, or full empty. So it shows you that prefixes are powerful, but they're not universal. It's a rule with exceptions.
Moving on, we have I'm. The trick in the source here is great. This prefix is used mainly before words, starting with M or P.
It's a phonetic rule of thumb, and it's invaluable. Possible becomes impossible. Patient, impatient. Polite, impolite.
Mature becomes immature, which means acting childishly. Perfect becomes imperfect. So if you see that initial M or P, I'm should be your first guess for negation.
Right. Next up is dis. This is commonly used for verbs and nouns, and it often implies a separation or a reversal of the action.
Like becomes dislike. Agree becomes disagree. Honest, dishonest. Respect, disrespect. Connect, disconnect. It often seems to reverse a positive social action or quality.
That's a great observation. Finally, we cover ina. It functions very similarly to un, and it's often used when the word root comes directly from Latin.
Correct becomes incorrect. Complete becomes incomplete. Direct becomes indirect, which means roundabout.
Yeah.
And active becomes inactive.
By mastering just those four prefixes, un, in, ins, and inu, have this immediate structural tool to basically double your vocabulary of opposites. It's a huge efficiency game.
Now we arrive at what is, for many, the most difficult hurdle for non-native speakers, but it's also the most essential component for reaching that native-level fluency.
Yes. We're talking about language that you cannot understand by translating it word for word. We're talking about idioms and phrasal verbs.
If you rely only on literal translation, you will be completely lost in a normal conversation.
Utterly lost. These phrases hold a hidden, figurative meaning, and mastering them is the difference between just being understood and sounding truly fluent.
It's like a linguistic code. When someone says, "It's not my cup of tea," they are not discussing beverages.
Not at all. They're communicating personal preference. And we have to internalize this non-literal nature. Let's start with idioms, which are these fixed phrases.
Our first category is food idioms. They're often kind of lighthearted but very effective.
The first one, a piece of cake. Not dessert, but something that is very, very easy. The math homework was a piece of cake.
Then, cup of tea. Something that one likes or is suitable for them. Theoretical physics is definitely not my cup of tea.
Spill the beans. This means to reveal a secret, usually by accident.
Apple of my eye. This one's very powerful. It signifies someone who is deeply cherished, deeply beloved. Her youngest child is the absolute apple of her eye.
It's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
And cool as a cucumber. This means to remain completely calm, collected, unfazed, even when you're under a lot of pressure.
He stayed cool as a cucumber when the CEO asked him to present without warning.
Perfect example. Next, animal idioms. These are highly visual, which helps in remembering them.
Let the cat out of the bag. Very similar to spilling the beans. It means to accidentally reveal a secret or a surprise.
Hold your horses. This is a command, really. It means, wait a moment, be patient. It's crucial in a fast-paced conversation. Hold your horses, let me finish my thought.
Right. Kill two birds with one stone. This is about efficiency, achieving two separate goals with a single action.
Like picking up the dry cleaning on the way to the bank that kills two birds with one stone.
Black sheep. This is the unusual person in a group or family, and it often has a slightly negative sense of nonconformity.
It does. And the classic, raining cats and dogs, just means very heavy torrential rain. It emphasizes the intensity. I can't believe I left my umbrella. It's raining cats and dogs out there.
Okay, moving on to body part idioms.
Break a leg. The classic way to wish someone good luck, especially before a performance.
Lost an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
A fantastic visual idiom. It just means extremely expensive. You're expressing your disbelief at the price.
That renovation project is going to cost an arm and a leg.
Then, cold shoulder. To intentionally ignore someone or be unfriendly towards them. After our disagreement, he gave me the cold shoulder all morning.
And keep an eye on. To look after something carefully, to stay vigilant, please keep an eye on the oven while I step out for a minute.
And if you're paying close attention, you are all ears. I'm excited about your news. Tell me everything. I am all ears.
Exactly. Finally, a quick set of general famous idioms.
Once in a blue moon. Something that happens very rarely. We go out to that fancy restaurant once in a blue moon.
Under the weather. A very common, polite way to say you're feeling unwell or sick.
Hit the sack or hit the hay. An informal, conversational way to say you're going to sleep.
Best of both worlds. This means having the advantage of two different, often conflicting situations at the same time. The new hybrid job offers the salary of the city, but the peace of the countryside. It's the best of both worlds.
And see eye to eye. To fully agree or share the same perspective on something, we rarely see eye to eye on politics.
Now, as a critique rightly noted, we cannot overlook the equally critical part of native fluency, phrasal verbs.
Right, and these are arguably harder than idioms because they look simple, but they're semantically so complex.
That's a crucial distinction. An idiom is a fixed phrase. A phrasal verb is a combination of a verb and a particle, a preposition or an adverb that completely changes the original meaning of the verb.
So if you learn the verb look, meaning to see, you might assume look up means to gaze at the sky.
But it doesn't. Look up often means to search for information. Or look up to means to admire someone. That particle up, down, in, out, it's a linguistic transformer.
Let's explore some of the most essential ones, maybe categorized by the main verb. Let's start with get.
Good one. Get across means to successfully communicate an idea. I struggle to get my point across to the committee.
Get away with means to escape punishment for something you did wrong. He got away with cheating on the test.
And get over. To recover from an illness or a disappointment, it took her months to get over the breakup.
Okay, the verb put is also extremely versatile.
It is. Put off means to postpone or delay something. We had to put off the meeting until next week. Postpone is a good synonym, but put off is what you'll hear in conversation.
And put up with. To tolerate or endure something unpleasant. I can't put up with his constant complaining anymore. This one is non-negotiable for native speech.
Absolutely. Then put down, which means to insult or criticize someone. Stop putting down your coworkers.
Okay, what about look?
So, look into means to investigate. The police are looking into the matter.
Look forward to. To anticipate something with pleasure. I look forward to meeting you. This is often used formally in emails, too.
It is. And look down on, which means to regard someone with contempt or as inferior. He looks down on anyone who hasn't been to university.
Let's do a few more essential complex ones.
Okay. Call off means to cancel something. They decided to call off the wedding.
Break down. This can mean to fail emotionally or for a machine to stop working. The car broke down on the highway.
And run into. To meet someone unexpectedly. I ran into my old professor at the grocery store.
Now, the source material really stresses the importance of visualization here. It says, don't just memorize the definition of put up with.
No, instead you should picture yourself physically standing under a constant downpour of complaints, forcing yourself to tolerate it. That mental image is what cements the figurative meaning.
The goal is to immediately integrate these into your active speech. So instead of the manager canceled the event, you say,
The manager called off the event. It instantly elevates your fluency to that native speaker level.
okay, we have saved what is maybe the most efficient vocabulary strategy for last.
It's my favorite. Etymology. It's the study of word origins, and it provides the ultimate structural shortcut. If you learn the meaning of one root, you can unlock potentially dozens, even hundreds, of related words.
This is the Lego analogy we mentioned. Instead of memorizing individual fully built models, we're learning what the basic bricks mean. We're decoding the language's DNA.
Exactly. And English words, because they're so influenced by Latin and Greek, are mostly built from three parts: the prefix at the start, the root, which is the heart, and the suffix at the end.
So let's focus first on 6 of these powerful key root words. The core meaning carriers. First up, the root spect, which means look or see.
Knowing this, words just instantly become comprehensible. Inspect means to look inside. A spectator is one who looks or watches. Spectacles are eyeglasses that help you see.
In retrospect, looking back, you can just see that root in there. It clicks.
It does. Next is port, which means carry.
This one is incredibly high utility.
It is. Transport is to carry across. Portable means able to be carried. Import, carry into the country, and export, carry out of the country. That function of movement is always present.
Then we have bio, meaning life.
Easy one. Biology is the study of life. A biography is a story written about someone's life. Biodegradable means it can be broken down by life processes.
The fourth root is chron, which means time.
This connects words like chronology, the order of time. A chronic illness is one that lasts for a long time, and to synchronize watches is to make them happen at the same time.
Fifth is phobia, meaning fear.
This is one of the clearest signals in the English language. Any word ending in phobia indicates a specific fear. Hydrophobia, fear of water. Arachnophobia, fear of spiders.
Claustrophobia, fear of confined spaces. You see phobia, you know it's a fear.
You do. And finally, tele, which means far.
Telephone, sound from far away. Television, vision from far away.
And a telescope, an instrument to look far away. So if you encounter a new word like telemetry, you can immediately guess it involves measurement from far away, tele.
That guessing capability is the real power here.
It is. Now let's layer back in the prefixes. These are the parts that modify the action or direction of the root. We saw how they create opposites, but they also change the core meaning.
So we'll revisit which means again or back.
Rewrite, write again, replay, play again, return, turn back. It implies repetition or reversal of the action.
Then meaning before or prior.
Preview, seeing beforehand. Prepaid, paid before. Prehistoric, before history. It's key to understanding temporal relationships in language.
Next, meaning wrong or incorrectly.
To understand incorrectly. Misuse, to use improperly. Misbehave, to behave wrongly. This prefix often implies an error or even an intentional fault.
And multifoy, which means many or a lot.
Multicolor, multitask, multiverse. Simple, effective, and it always signals plurality.
Okay, our final structural piece is the suffix, which attaches to the end and tells you the word's grammatical function. Is it a noun, an adjective?
Exactly. Let's look at full, which transforms a noun into an adjective meaning full of that noun.
So color becomes colorful, full of color. Power becomes powerful, full of power.
And help becomes helpful, which means useful or full of help. The suffix converts the word's entire function.
And finally, or, which signifies a person who does the action.
Yes, you take a verb, you add this suffix, and you get the noun for the person performing that action. Teach becomes teacher, act becomes actor.
Write becomes writer, sing becomes singer. It's a formula.
It is. By understanding these three components, prefix, root, and suffix, you stop seeing new vocabulary as these random strings of letters to be memorized. You start seeing them as logical, constructed building blocks. It just vastly reduces the mental load of acquisition.
But if the whole point of etymology is to learn faster, why should we waste time memorizing those common pairs like hot and cold? Should we just jump straight to the prefixes and roots?
That's a fair challenge. The common pairs, though, are the necessary foundation for immediate, daily, non-academic use. You need to be able to deploy those instantly, without thinking.
For speed.
They're for speed. But the roots and prefixes, that's your scaling mechanism. You need both. You need the simple, fast words like hot and cold for conversation, and you need the structural words like spect and port for massive expansion and for sophisticated reading comprehension. Fluency requires both immediate recall and structural depth.
That was a comprehensive deep dive into the vocabulary master. I think we've established a really clear path to fluency that focuses on precision, not just on volume.
To quickly summarize the 5 key areas we covered, first, synonyms. Choosing that high-value word massive, superb over simple placeholders like big or good.
Second, antonyms. Using those structural prefixes, un, im, to say, as the most efficient way to express the opposite of something.
Third, idioms. Mastering those figurative phrases like cost an arm and a leg to sound conversational and natural.
Fourth, phrasal verbs. Recognizing that verb plus a particle, like put off or look up to, changes the entire meaning. And that's essential for active listening.
And finally, etymology. Deciphering that linguistic code via roots like spect and port and suffixes like nightfall and ardor to really scale your vocabulary exponentially.
We want to remind you of the final and maybe the most crucial piece of advice from the source. Language is a habit. You cannot achieve mastery through passive reading.
No. The only metric that really matters is application. Your daily mission should be clear. Learn at least one new word or idiom, and then force yourself to use it. Use it in a conversation, use it in an email with someone that very same day. Active use is the only retention mechanism.
And don't be afraid to fail. Making a mistake is the fastest way to learn the correct context. You might misuse a word once, but that social correction or even your own realization will cement the proper usage forever.
Embrace the process of trial and error, absolutely.
To close, let's return to that powerful linguistic Lego system.
We discussed roots like spect, meaning look, but consider one of the oldest Latin roots, man, which means hand. If you internalize that single root, you suddenly understand manual, done by hand, manipulate, to handle or control skillfully, and manufacture, which originally meant to make by hand.
So many of the words we use every day unknowingly contain these ancient Latin, Greek secrets.
Then what other powerful roots, perhaps ped, meaning foot, which you find in words like pedal and expedite, or vert, meaning turn, which you find in words like invert and convert. What other roots are hiding in plain sight in your everyday speech, just waiting for you to unlock the full potential and truly become the master of your own vocabulary?